Thank you, Peter, for that introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Dan Resch. I'm excited to be a speaker this year at Transform 2025 and hope to see all of you there. I currently work for UZURV as a provider relationship manager. We'll touch on more of that later. About 12 years ago, I embarked on a career journey, changing from outbound call center and commission sales industry to NEMT and transit. It was the best decision I ever made. Not only did I meet my wife at this job, but her being in a wheelchair herself drove my passion and mission forward further in NEMT and public transit. I have truly found my forever career. But the beginning of my NEMT journey almost didn't happen, as it turned out, supposed to be turned down for the role, and my application instead got on the approval pile by mistake. But I don't believe in coincidences or mistakes. I believe that things happen for a reason. So in 2013, I embarked on taking reservations for an NEMT conglomerate, booking rides for dialysis patients and others who needed rides to their doctor. Soon after, I was the one working with the transportation providers in our network to get these last minute, short notice, hard to schedule trips covered. I soon discovered that the way you interact with those on the other end of the line, whether dispatchers, CEOs, owner operators, these transportation companies, who to us at that time were third party vendors, makes all the difference between them squeezing in a trip or telling you no. Segues nicely into today's topic, which is driving success together, maximizing third party and contractor relationships. I have since moved on from that role, but the principles and approach remain the same. How you view and treat your third party vendors, or really anyone you work with or manage, makes all the difference. At UZURV, my current email signature ends with "Thank you for your partnership." That simple sentence on the bottom of my email signature sets the tone right away with appreciation to the person I'm reaching out to, whether prospect or longtime subcontractor, of course. It isn't just some canned script like you might see on a rejection letter or email for a job you might have applied for. Sometimes saying thank you and then showing your appreciation in actions is enough to win over a subcontractor for life. This talk today will share several anecdotes and practical concepts as to how to maximize these relationships. During my full talk, we will cover the 7 secrets or principles of treating your subcontractors like a true partner. Using the word partner, we will discuss these 7 principles in detail: perspective, approachable, rapport, trustworthy, new ideas, extra mile, and respect. But first, what does being a partner mean? In a law firm, being a partner means you've made it. Your name is on the sign out front of the firm, and it's a prestigious honor. The dictionary defines a partner as this: either of a pair of people engaged together in the same activity, essentially saying that we are in this together. Even though I might be your manager and you might be the driver or provider, we're all in the same line of work, working for one common goal. That brings us to the A in approachable, which we're going to talk about today. Any of you ever had a manager or supervisor who told you, "My door is always open"? I have. Even if you haven't had that experience, we've all heard about these managers who give you the proverbial "my door is always open," except when it's closed, of course. But it isn't just about whether the door is actually opened or closed. It's about, are they really there for you when you need them to be? Being approachable goes beyond just being accessible. It goes about, are you really there for your team, mentally, physically? Are you all in? When I first started as a manager, I couldn't wait to have my own office, thinking it was all about status. I quickly realized that was the quickest way to lose your team, as it made me appear unapproachable. So I quickly moved my desk to the operations floor, and it was the best move I made, not only for optics, but the goal is to be one with my team, a partner with them. The A for approachable could very well be interchanged with adaptable as well. I guess this talk is being brought to you by the letter A, because I adapted my style. I found that being on the operations floor with my team was so much better for the flow of the day and the interaction. Even though my intentions with my management style was one of collaboration and an open door policy, it really blossomed when I became available out in the main area and just experienced the entire day of the dispatchers and the drivers coming in and out, being able to interact with the drivers face to face, thank them for the day, ask them how their day is going, get feedback from them, interact with them, interact with my dispatchers, assist with calls, do whatever I needed to do. That remarkable thing started happening. I began to establish the culture as a manager and establish myself in the eyes of my drivers and the rest of the team as an approachable, hands-on manager who cared. Even when we moved buildings at Green Cab, we kept the same open office atmosphere where drivers could finish their shift or come back and visit with myself or my team or run anything by us that they needed to. I continued this same culture when I was the director of operations at MMS Courier out in beautiful Idaho. And no, I didn't learn to like potatoes any better living there, but I did continue the great culture that I'd established when I was the general manager at Green Cab at MMS Courier as well, where I had my desk out in the open in the warehouse in the dispatch area, where the drivers and dispatchers were accessible to me, and I was able to assist them and thank them for their day, help out with whatever they needed. The message to them was, I am one of you guys and will help anywhere I can. I believed and still do today that unless I'm willing to help and do the job alongside the people I manage, I'm failing to be an approachable manager. After all, this talk is about partnership. And not only are your drivers or employees and third party vendors partners with you, but you as a manager should be a partner with them. Which brings me to the E in partner, which stands for extra mile. I'm going to demonstrate this with a personal story um, and a few commentary regarding that. Walk with me through a day in the life of my role as a general manager of a cab company in Madison, Wisconsin, around 2020, right as the onset of COVID. We all remember those days. Glad that mostly that's done with now. At that time, I was the general manager of Green Cab, and it was the day after heavy snowfall. Just another winter we had with several snowstorms, and it was my role to manage the drivers and make sure our cabs were in tip-top shape to when they went on the road. I was just about to finish my shift for the night, texting my wife, letting her know that I was about wrapping up the day and I would be home soon. When I got a call from one of my drivers, I figured it was going to be just quickly be able to be resolved with a simple phone call or whatever I needed to do because I had conversations with drivers all day. I wasn't surprised. I was more surprised when the driver told me that he needed assistance and didn't know what to do as he was stuck in the snow. I could have passed judgment as to why he didn't take a different route, why he didn't avoid the snowbank, or called my congressman to complain that why the snowplows weren't out for the night. But instead, I took action and said that I'd be right there to help him any way that I could. Grabbed a snow shovel and the GPS coordinates that I put in my phone for where he was located, and made a phone call to my wife to say that I was going to be delayed further because I had to go help my driver who was stuck in the snow. She sighed, even though she was used to my late hours and dedication to my job by now, and said, "Okay, be careful." I've obviously edited that because there was a few other choice words that we can't say during this talk. When I get to the location of my driver, I realize that no matter how much I rock the vehicle back and forth, have him drive forward, drive backwards, try to shovel him out, he's not budging. I'm cold from head to toe. My business clothes and shoes are not well equipped for Arctic cold and snow a foot or more deep. As I go back to my van to warm up, I figured I'm going to move my vehicle a little closer to him. As I do, I realize I'm not able to move either, and the family minivan that I brought to work that day is now stuck along with my cab, and my driver and I are stuck out there alone in the cold in the middle in the late evening with nobody around to help us. Over my career, I found ways to maximize the effectiveness by adding value to the contractors that have worked for me over the last decade plus in multiple different roles. This is one example in which I went the extra mile for my drivers. No man left behind. I will drop everything and come and help you or attempt to help you the best I can, even if it means I sacrifice the confines of my desk and computer, a warm office, even when supper might be getting cold at home. Now, I'm not advising something this dramatic, but the point is to be intentional and genuine in how you interact with your drivers and subcontractors. If you have their backs, they will have yours. Please come see my full talk at Nemtac to find out what happens next and how we get out of this predicament, and find out about the other key principles and have a laugh or two also. Now, more about me and my role. As I mentioned at the top, I work at UZURV, the adaptive TNC. My position there is a provider relationship manager. A little more about UZURV. We are based in Richmond and started about 8 years ago as the Adaptive Transportation Network Company. Basically, we are rideshare purpose built for service to people with disabilities and older adults. We work with innovative transportation programs across the country, including 5 of the top 10 paratransit programs by annual volume. We provide ride solutions to each of those communities, and in many ways, we're asked to provide wheelchair accessible vehicle provider trips, and that is where I come in. My job is to find and build partnerships with wave subcontractors and third-party vendors to provide the same high level of service we expect of any driver on our network. It might start that day with a call or email with the "thank you for your partnership" sentence. But the partnership sentence does not end there. In fact, that's only the beginning. It continues and evolves once they start taking trips with face-to-face visits and audits, phone calls checking in, ride monitoring, compliance checks, and oversight. Thank you for attending this webinar. I look forward to telling my full story and sharing all 7 principles at Nemtac in August. Hope to meet and see you there at my session and maybe even start partnering together something great. Thank you today for your time.
So just a quick reminder, our conference is August 24th through the 26th at the Hilton Anatole in Dallas, Texas. Looking forward to seeing Dan there and all of you. So thank you again for your attendance. Looking forward to seeing each and every one of you. This year's going to be bigger and better. We're expanding, we're growing, lots of change. So thank